Imagine you are sitting in a packed arena, the air is thick with tension, and 18,000 fans are screaming at the top of their lungs. You can hear the rhythmic squeak of sneakers on the hardwood and the heavy breathing of athletes at the peak of their game. It is Game 1 of the first round playoffs, Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. All eyes are on one person, the rookie sensation who has single-handedly changed the gravity of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark. Just 90 seconds into the game, the unthinkable happens. Dejanai Carrington makes a move, but it is not a basketball move. Her hand flashes out a martial arts-style strike straight into Caitlin Clark's eye. Clark drops to the floor like she has been hit by a heavyweight boxer. She is clutching her face curled in a ball of pure agony, and the entire arena goes dead silent for a split second before a roar of confusion breaks out. But here is the kicker, the part that makes your blood boil: the referees. The people paid to keep the game fair, they just look the other way. No whistle, no foul, no justice. This is not just a missed call, it is the start of a story that is bigger than basketball. It is a story about a league that was not ready for its own savior, about the price of greatness, and about a little thing we like to call karma, that was lurking just around the corner, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. Listen, Caitlin Clark just got bodied on national television, and instead of defending her, the league went silent. Everyone is calling her overhyped or saying she is just a media creation, but the people pushing that narrative are completely missing the point. If you stay until the end of this video, you are going to find out why the media story around Clark is built on a half-truth, the one shocking statistic that completely changes how you see this controversy, and the real reason why what is happening to Clark right now matters for the future of every woman in sports. This is not just about points and assists anymore, this is about a shift in the universe. Quick note before we dive into the deep end. Everything you are about to hear is based on publicly available info, verified reports, and our own deep dive into the film and data. We are not affiliated with Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, or the WNBA. We are not here to pick sides or play favorites. We are just here to break down what the numbers and the footage actually tell us. All opinions here are for entertainment and info purposes, and we have a ton of respect for every player putting in work on that court. So, let's go back to that moment on the floor. Clark is down, her eye is burning, and she is trying to figure out if she can even see the rim. But while she is fighting through the pain, something even more disturbing is happening. Carrington is not checking to see if Clark is okay. No, she is sharing a mocking laugh with her teammate, Marina Mabrey. It is a private joke at the expense of a rookie's injury. And it did not stop when the final buzzer sounded. A few weeks later, Carrington hops on Instagram Live with her girlfriend, and she is smiling. She is laughing. She actually acts out the eye poke again. She mocks the pain. She makes it a meme. For the millions of fans who have followed Clark from Iowa to the pros, this felt like a slap in the face. It was disrespectful, it was petty, and it felt like the old guard was trying to haze a superstar out of the league. Then you have Marina Mabrey. Just days after the Carrington incident, Mabrey goes up for a block and hammers Clark across the face. Again, the officials miss it. The photo of the contact is brutal. It looks like a scene from a fight movie, not a professional basketball game. The commentators were stunned. They were literally speechless on live television, saying it should have been a flagrant foul immediately. But here is where the story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. They say the game has a way of balancing itself out, and in Game 2 of the semifinals, the bill finally came due. Dejanai Carrington is driving to the hoop. She is looking to finish strong, but she runs into a wall named Kayla McBride. In a moment that fans are calling pure poetic justice, McBride fouls Carrington hard, sending her crashing to the hardwood. The crowd gasps. It is a heavy collision. Everything seems to freeze for a second as Carrington, the same player who laughed and mocked Clark's injury, is now the one staring up at the stadium lights in pain. There was no smirk this time. There was no inside joke. There was just the cold, hard floor and the realization that what goes around comes around fast. And the basketball gods were not done yet. Moments later, Marina Mabrey gets caught by a sharp elbow from McBride. She goes down hard and stays down. The arena falls into a stunned silence. For the thousands of Clark fans watching this was not about wanting to see someone get hurt. It was about the feeling that the scales were finally being leveled. It was instant karma served cold and delivered with perfect timing. But why does this matter so much? Why is the internet exploding over a few hard fouls? It is because of the numbers, and the numbers do not lie. During her rookie season, Caitlin Clark absorbed more hard fouls per game than almost any other guard in the history of the league. That is not a coincidence, that is a target. When you look at the data, the viewership for WNBA games skyrocketed 260% year over year. Clark's final game drew 2.5 million viewers. Let that sink in for a second. 2,500,000 people tuned in to watch her play. That is the highest regular season number in 23 years. She turned the WNBA into must-watch television overnight. But the moment the Fever were knocked out, the air left the balloon. Game 1 of the finals between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty only brought in 1.1 million viewers. The league lost more than half its audience the second Clark stepped off the court. This is the tension at the heart of the story. You have a player who is bringing in more money, more attention, and more fans than the league has ever seen, but she is being treated like a villain by the very players who are benefiting from her presence. People want to frame this as just a basketball rivalry, but the real issue runs much deeper. It is about a generational shift. It is about the old guard feeling threatened by a rookie who has more power and influence than they ever did. The tension is palpable. You can see it in the body language, you can hear it in the post-game interviews, and you can definitely feel it in the way the refs are calling the games. If you are a WNBA fan who was here before the Clark era, this might make you furious. You might think she is getting too much credit. But the reality is that the last time a rookie changed a league this fast was LeBron James back in 2003, and even then, it felt like the NBA was ready for him. The WNBA, on the other hand, seems to be struggling to handle the spotlight. They have too many categories for fouls, too many ways for officials to look the other way, and not enough protection for the stars that people are actually paying to see. When Sophie Cunningham is getting fined constantly just for trying to protect Clark because the refs won't do their jobs, you know the system is broken. That floor is hard. That eye poke could have scratched a cornea or worse. It is a miracle Clark was not seriously injured during some of these assaults. But beyond the drama and the fouls, there is a lesson here for all of us. Caitlin Clark's story is about what happens when an entire system seems designed to slow you down. It is about being the most hated person in the room simply because you are the most talented. Clark did not silence her critics by getting into Twitter feuds or complaining in interviews. She silenced them by getting up, dusting herself off, and shooting 3 doubles in a row. She showed us that the best way to handle a bully is to be so good that they cannot ignore you and then let the game handle the rest. She walked into a league that was not ready for her carried expectations that no human being should have to carry, and she still showed up every single night. That is not just a sports story, that is a blueprint for life. Think about the pressure. Every single move she makes is scrutinized by millions. Every missed shot is a headline, and every win is dissected for flaws. And yet, she stays graceful. She stays well-mannered. She is the polar opposite of the bullies who were trying to inflict pain and humiliation on her. While Carrington and Mabry were mocking her on social media, Clark was at home getting shots up, preparing for the next battle. She understands something they don't. The spotlight is a privilege, but it's also a responsibility. You can't claim you want the game to grow and then try to take out the person who is actually growing it. The WNBA needs to wake up. They need to realize that they have a generational talent in their hands, and they are letting it be tarnished by petty jealousies and poor officiating. The fans are watching. They are voting with their remotes and their wallets. 2.5 million viewers down to 1.1 million. That is a loud message. People are not just fans of basketball, they are fans of stories, and right now, the story they are invested in is Caitlin Clark. They want to see her succeed because they see themselves in her struggle. They see what it's like to be the new person at work who is doing a better job than the veterans and getting heat for it. They see what it's like to be treated unfairly and told to just suck it up. So, let me ask you this. Do you think Caitlin Clark is getting a fair shake? Do you think the league and the media are protecting her? Or are they letting her be a sacrificial lamb for ratings? Drop a basketball emoji in the comments if you are riding with Clark and you want to see her get the respect she has earned. Let us know your honest take below. Do you think the physical play is just part of the game, or has it crossed the line into something darker? We read every single comment because we want to know what the real fans are thinking, not just what the talking heads on TV are saying. Every comment you leave helps this video reach more sports fans who deserve to hear the full picture, not just the 10-second clips that fit a specific narrative. If you think the truth matters and you want to see the game evolve, make some noise right now. At the end of the day, the 2024 season was not just about who won the trophy. It was about the arrival of a force of nature. Caitlin Clark did not win the title this year, but in every way that counts, she won the season. She brought the audience, she created the buzz, and she became the center of a universe that was previously struggling for relevance. And as for the players who tried to bring her down, they learned the hard way that in basketball, just like in life, it is all fun and games until you are the one trying to get up from the floor. The game has a way of balancing things out. It has a way of finding its own justice when the officials fail. And that is the true Caitlin Clark effect. It's not just about her logo threes or her no-look passes. It's about the way she changes everything and everyone around her just by stepping onto the hardwood. Now you know the full story of what is really happening around Caitlin Clark, but believe it or not, there is another player whose journey makes this whole controversy look like just a warm-up. I already made a video about the hidden drama behind her rise to the top, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. It covers things the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. That video is right there on your screen right now. Go ahead and click it, and I will see you over there to continue the conversation. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes on the game because the real story is always happening between the lines. Caitlin Clark is more than just a player. She is a movement. When you see her out there facing double teams, hard hedges, and physical coverage that would make an NBA player flinch, you are seeing a masterclass in resilience. She reads the field vision like she has a drone hovering over the court. Her off-ball movement creates space for her teammates that they didn't even know existed. And in those final 2 minutes, when the game is on the line and the pressure is at an absolute boiling point, she is as cool as ice. That is what a superstar looks like. That is what the fans are paying to see. It's not about the drama, it's about the excellence. But the drama is what happens when excellence meets insecurity. We have to talk about the enforcers, too. Every great player needs someone to have their back. In the NBA, if you hit a star like Steph Curry or LeBron James, you know someone is coming for you. In the WNBA, Clark has spent a lot of time on an island. But seeing players like Kayla McBride stand up and play with that same intensity shows that the league is starting to realize that you can't let your best assets get beat up every night. It's about respect. If you want to be a top-tier professional league, you have to act like one. You have to have standards. You have to ensure that the game is decided by skill, not by who can get away with the dirtiest hit. The social media reaction to all of this has been fascinating. You have the angry group furious about the fouls and the refs. You have the excited group living for every highlight and logo 3. You have the skeptics who are still trying to argue that she is all hype, despite the mountain of data saying otherwise. And then you have the protectors, the fan base that is willing to argue for Clark's legacy until they are blue in the face. This kind of engagement is what every league dreams of. It's what makes sports feel alive. It's why we tune in. We want to care. We want to feel like every game matters. And with Clark on the floor, every game feels like a championship. Think back to that eye poke one more time. Imagine if that had been the end of her season. Imagine the loss to the sport, the loss to the fans, and the loss to the business of basketball. When you realize how close we came to losing this incredible narrative because of a petty move, it makes you realize how fragile this success is. We have to protect the game. We have to protect the players who are making the game better. Caitlin Clark has done her part. She has shown up, she has played through the pain, and she has kept her head high. Now it is time for the rest of the world to catch up. The atmosphere in those arenas is unlike anything we have ever seen in women's sports. It is loud, it is passionate, and it is diverse. You see little girls wearing number 22 jerseys, you see old-school basketball fans who haven't watched a game in years, and you see new fans who are just there for the energy. This is the Clark effect in its purest form. It is a bridge between generations. It is a unifying force in a sport that has often been overlooked. And that is exactly why the pushback from within the league feels so strange. Why fight the very thing that is lifting you up? Maybe it's because change is hard. Maybe it's because the WNBA has been a certain way for 30 years, and Clark represents a total break from that tradition. She doesn't play the way they play. She doesn't act the way they act. She is a disruptor. And history tells us that disruptors are always met with resistance. But history also tells us that the disruptors are the ones who change the world. Clark isn't just playing basketball. She is rewriting the rules of what is possible for a female athlete. She is proving that women can draw the big crowds, the big ratings, and the big controversies. She is proving that women's sports can be just as dramatic, just as intense, and just as profitable as men's sports. So as we look forward to the next season, the question isn't whether Clark will continue to dominate. We already know she will. The question is whether the league will evolve with her. Will the refs start calling a fair game? Will the other players realize that a rising tide lifts all boats? Or will we see more of the same petty drama and missed calls? Regardless of what happens, one thing is for sure, we will be right here watching. Because this is the greatest show in sports right now. This is the story of a girl from Iowa who took on the world and won not with her words, but with her game. The road ahead is going to be tough. The targets on her back aren't going anywhere. If anything, they are getting bigger. Every team in the league is spending their off-season figuring out how to stop her, how to get under her skin, and how to neutralize her impact. But that's the beautiful part. That's why we love sports. We want to see the best go up against the best. We want to see the adjustments and the counter-adjustments. We want to see if she can take her game to an even higher level, and if her history is any indication, she is just getting started. If you are new here, make sure you stick around. We are going to be covering every step of this journey. We are going to be breaking down the film, looking at the advanced stats, and calling out the nonsense when we see it. Because fans like you deserve the real story. You deserve to know why things are happening, not just that they are happening. You deserve a community where you can talk about the game you love without all the noise and the bias. That is what we are building here. A place for the real fans. So one last time, think about that silence in the arena when she hit the floor. Think about the roar when she got back up. That is the heartbeat of basketball. That is why we are here. Caitlin Clark has given us a reason to believe in the magic of the game all over again. She has given us a reason to tune in, to cheer, and to debate. She has reminded us that greatness isn't given, it's taken. And she is taking it, one logo, three at a time. The world is watching, the clock is running, and the next chapter is about to be written. Don't blink, because you might miss the most important play of the decade. And while you're thinking about that, don't forget to check out that other video I mentioned. It's the perfect follow-up to everything we talked about today. It goes even deeper into the politics of the league and the players who are trying to navigate this new world. It's a wild ride, and you're going to love it. Just click that box on the screen, and I'll see you there in a second. Let's keep this energy going. Let's keep talking basketball. Let's keep supporting the players who are changing the game. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. See you in the next one. The numbers of 1.1 million viewers for the finals compared to 2.5 million for a first-round game. That's a massive gap. It's almost unbelievable. If the league office doesn't see that as a giant red flag, I don't know what will. You can't ignore 1.5 million people walking away. That's not just a drop in ratings, that's an exodus. It tells you that the fans aren't just fans of the WNBA as a concept, they are fans of the excitement that Clark brings. They want the flair, they want the long-range bombs, they want the drama. When she's gone, the league feels different. It feels smaller. And that brings us back to the players like Carrington and Mabry. They are good players, great players, even. But they have to understand their role in this ecosystem. If they want to be stars, they have to act like stars. Mocking an injury on a live stream isn't star behavior, it's high school behavior. The fans see that and they react to it. That's why the karma narrative took off so fast. People wanted to see some accountability. They wanted to see that the game still has a moral compass. And when they saw those hits in the semifinals, they felt like they finally saw it. It's a miracle Caitlin Clark stayed as healthy as she did. Think about the intensity of 80-plus games, the travel, the media, and then having to play with a literal target on your back every single night. Most veterans would struggle with that, let alone a rookie. But she has this mental toughness that you just can't teach. She has that Mamba mentality where the outside noise just becomes fuel. You could see it in her eyes after every hard hit. She wasn't looking for a fight. She was looking for the next bucket. That's how you win. That's how you become a legend. If you're still here, you're the real MVPs. You're the ones who actually care about the game and the players. You're the ones who make this community great. We appreciate you more than you know. We're going to keep bringing you the best analysis, the most dramatic stories, and the most honest takes we can. Because that's what this game deserves. That's what Caitlin Clark deserves. And that's what you deserve. So stay tuned, keep your head in the game, and get ready for whatever comes next. Because if this season was any indication, we haven't seen anything yet. The revolution is just beginning, and we have a front row seat. Let's make sure we don't miss a single second of it. See you in the next video where the drama continues and the stakes get even higher. Don't go anywhere.